Right on. So yeah, guys, welcome to the call tonight. I'm going to be going over a handful of things. Be sure to make sure everyone is muted. Be sure to mute out. Mute. Cool. And be going over a few things. A couple of things people have been actually talking to me about, asking in the chat, in the Telegram. I know a lot of people are really wanting to understand, well, how Fibonacci works, how they can take advantage of it in the market. So we'll definitely be going over that. Man, we're going to be going over a lot of stuff tonight. Just kind of feel free to drop any questions you currently have in the chat. I will get to each and every single one of those tonight. We're just gonna keep going as long as anybody feels like learning. As long as y'all are asking questions and attentive and showing me that you want information, then I'll stay on here with y'all and give y'all as much as I can. But yeah, so we're about to get right into the charts. Okay, new share. All right, cool. Can everyone see my screen? Go ahead and drop in the chat. Make sure everyone can see it. See Euro USD. Awesome. So I'm just gonna, all right. We're gonna do like a solid breakdown of kind of like this Euro chart, what I was looking at, some of the moves I kind of capitalized on over the course of this week, what I'm looking to see next, and just kind of like naked chart trading, like all EMA aside, we're just going to be looking strictly at structure. That's what we're going to be looking at. Okay. Let's get back to the basis, guys. Let's get back to things that matter. Let's get back to this structure. So right out the bat, you can see that we've been at like this support level on the monthly. A lot of wicks, a lot of exhaustion, just a lot happening right there as far as like sellers not really being able to continue this down. They've kind of came to a stop. A lot of indecision in the market as far as this monthly chart has been happening. We do kind of have a candlestick pattern right here. So, just for me though, what I'm looking at here is just overall momentum. And what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a lot of indecision with these wicks. Since this is a higher time frame, these wicks are like straight up exhaustion. So we had this exhaustion, and indecision right here. We had a doji, which isn't, this is indecision in the market. Buyers and sellers were fighting, couldn't decide which one was going to win. And then we had this bearish momentum come all the way down to here. And then what happened? It closed all the way up here, all this exhaustion. So just right there, that's right off the bat what I was looking at. So for me, I'm looking for bullish moves based off of that monthly exhaustion. That's what I was looking at. We do have a new monthly candle opening, which is cool. This monthly candle did close. So it closed with all this exhaustion. So for me, like I said, I'm looking for bullish price action to continue. That's what I'm really shooting for. So let's go ahead and break it down to the weekly. Again, guys, this is just what you got to kind of do. Like, you got to do top-down analysis. You got to formulate your overall bias in this market. Like, you have to formulate an opinion. That's how this works. So what do we see? What do we see here on the weekly? Again, we're seeing that all this indecision in the market, you have just a bunch of red and blue, guys, like a bunch of just like not going anywhere, straight consolidation, guys. This means the market is ranging, just kind of ranging, just chilling in this area here. All this here, indecision, the straight, just like consolidation, super choppy, just nothing really too determining on here. We did have this big bearish engulfing here on the weekly that did take out previous structure as far as these two bullish candles. It took out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles worth of volume in that one candle on the weekly. So, that is a lot of bearish volume, but overall, I'm still like looking for that bullish momentum to continue off of all the exhaustion that we've seen on these monthly candles. But that is something to be very aware of right here, is this a lot of this volume that took out all this. This is a lot of volume. So another thing you can do is when you're on TradingView, you can come over here to the side. You can zoom into your price better to see more of the structure. Because see, when we're looking at it like how it's default, right, we're seeing how many pips each. So we're seeing it go from basically like 200 pip differences. So it's like, you want to zoom in there and see like more data, you can drag in. This can get you more information. This is how you can see more structure. So this is how you can see where like supports have been broken. This is how you can see where more stuff is happening. So for me though, what I'm still looking at is that it's a lot of just consolidation, a lot of ranging. So I'm not really too much, not too much with it. Like I'm just like not like judging a lot off of this just previous area here. I am just taking into account about this bearish volume that did close really strong on that week. So I'm gonna go down to the daily. Hey, make sure y'all mute out. Appreciate y'all. Gotcha. Cool. So, man, the daily's been really interesting. So looking at just how, like I said, like how ranging it's just been super, super ranging. But what I personally was looking at was this like area of support here. So since this is a daily, I went ahead and I noticed like what my main area of support is, like where the market came down right here, made this indecision candle, this doji, like, so made a tested candle here. I'm going to draw my support into the future. And I just want y'all to kind of see what's happening here with this area. Price is testing this area a lot. We're not getting like strong breaks. We're getting a lot of just test. So what is a test? What does that mean? Well, what that means is price came to this area and didn't close with a bunch of volume below this area, below this line, below this support. So we can just like look like right here, what happened? Bearish momentum, immediate bullish momentum. Here, what we have? We had this bearish momentum, and again, immediate bullish momentum back up. Just all through here, guys, like bearish, immediately bullish. Bearish, immediately bullish, right? Test. It came down, and it didn't even close. It didn't even close below it. Here, test. Here, little tiny volume of candles, but what happened? Bullish momentum all the way back up, bearish momentum, but again, straight back up into this zone. So for me, this is where I'm seeing that like this is all that exhaustion. This is all that exhaustion that was happening on the weekly. This is all that exhaustion happening on the monthly, because like this goes all the way back into November here. So what will this be on like higher time frames, guys? These are going to be wicks. On higher time frame, this is going to be a wick. Wick. It's going to be wicky. See? Boom. Wick. That is what all that zone is. That's what it looks like. Be aware what something looks like on higher time frames. So I'm being super aware of this zone being wicky, testing. It's testing. For me, this is a major like support area. Okay? I can go in here and I can find where structure has been broken. I can go in here and find where that's happened. So what we can do is we can come back here to our structure. So let's go back into the past. Now, some people are like, how to use Fibonacci? You know, well, some people won't use Fibonacci on super high time frames like daily and stuff like that. I like daily fibs to kind of have like a direction of where the market could go, and especially paying attention to those price reversal zones, because a lot of times you'll get like your manipulation wicks to those zones. So what I want to like kind of go here is we had this area of consolidation here, right? So everyone here should know what consolidation is. It just basically means the market's ranging, just constantly going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It looks like a heartbeat, right? Like beep, 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 you know, like just chilling. All right. So what I'm looking for is to draw my fib is I'm looking for support to truly be broken. So again, let's find where our support was, our major support in this area right here. Again, what do we see here? Indecision candle, tested candles right here, guys. This is when the market is making a true floor, like true floor. Like when you see like this type of stuff here, like this is true floor. You find these support areas. Again, let's look. Here we go. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, 4 tests. And what happened here? This is a break. It broke it broke support. See how it continued on with bearish price action? We had this too strong bearish volume right here. See how that closed right there, and then it immediately closed right there? That's a break. So now that I have my break, and now I have a support right here, a support was created after this strong break. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw my fib from the previous high point before this break. And since it's going down, it's going to be on my bearish candle. So for me, I'm looking for an A point. My A point's here, right? Now, temporarily, before any of this stuff to the side here existed, before any of that existed, I needed to draw my fib, right? So boom, I'm going to do a replay tool, see if it's actually going to work for me. No, my replay is not working. Hold up, guys. Let me reload my chart. Oh, I guess I don't have my pro right now. My bad, guys. There we go. Let's go back through here, see if it'll let me do it. There we go. I don't know why it wasn't working for a second. All right, cool. So here's our break. Boom. We had not 1 candle, but 2 candles. But for me, my real break was right here when we had 2 candles past this line of support here. This is my real break here. Okay, so we had that break. So we're going to draw our fib. We have our point A. Okay, price is coming down, right? So we're just going to draw our fib to the low point. Okay, this is our current fib. Now we will continue to drag our fibs with this bearish momentum until we get like a true find our like true B point. So let's wait for candles to form. Let's see how they form. Let's see how they form. Boom, 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 boom. Great. Now let's drag our fib down here. We have a true support to work with now. Right here. And so this is very like use your own judgment when it comes to fibs. Personally, I'm going to put it on the strong bearish action, not on like something like a doji. To me, that's like an indecision candle and not really the bearish candle, because on a downtrend, we're going to do from bear to bear. So I'm going to do it from this bear to this bear here. So now I have my B point right here. So this is what Fibonacci is, guys. You find your A point, so your previous high to your low. This is our low. Is everybody catching along with that? Feel free to like message if something don't make sense. Jump in the group chat. Let me know. Let me know it makes sense. Cool, cool, cool. All right. I'm going to continue on. All right. So now we have our A point and our B point. Now, let's see. Chat. Looks good. Looks good. Cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the feedback. Again, like I really do appreciate the feedback. That shows me that, you know, what we're doing here matters. I want y'all to have feedback on these calls. All right. So let's go here. I'm going to mark out some levels. And this is just me, like, I'm just highlighting these levels for you guys, because these are levels at which the market likes to have price reversal. These are levels that I like to look at for price reversal. So all these are price reversal areas. Our 23.6, we don't count that as price reversal. We count that as continuation. So now, again, guys, this is the daily time frame, but I'm going to show you how this plays into like your other time frames once we get some candles closer to. Let's see. Okay, we're going to have to drag our fib now. Until we get a valid fib level, like a 38.2, we're going to keep on dragging our fib down. So now our B point is here. You see how your B point's changing as the market changes? Because you didn't see all this before. Now you're seeing it. You're seeing it as the market forms. So now our B point's here. Our A point, our B point. The market's ranging. Cool. Now, here's the juice. The market touched the 38.2 here. Guys, go ahead and mute out. Appreciate y'all joining, but go ahead and mute out. All right. Here's the juice. The market has came up and touched a level, touched a 38.2 level. 38.2 is considered one of our price reversal zones. I'll go ahead and delete these now that I dragged my fib up. All right. 38.2 is one of our price reversal zones. So I'm going to highlight this a different color. Let's highlight this like blue. Cool. Tap. 38.2 tap. Okay. Once you get like a 38.2 tap, typically what we're looking for is our projections. We're looking for projections of where price could go. A 38.2 is a valid retracement level. Our valid retracement levels are 38.2 and beyond, okay? So those are valid retracement levels. Those are also valid for our trend, right? For higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, lower low, lower high, right? Okay, so we had a lower low, lower high. So your 38.2s are your valid lower highs and higher lows for, depending on if you're a downtrend or an uptrend. We're in a downtrend here, so we're going A to B. We touched the 38.2. Let's see where price goes. Let's see if we're going to get a different fib level touched. What we're doing, guys, is called back testing. We're seeing what happened with the market So we have a sentimental bias of what to do next time in the market, of, you know, seeing how this pair reacts. We're learning the pair. We're becoming one with this pair. We're seeing how it reacts. This is all part of the process, guys. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Price coming down, ranging, chilling. Came back up, touched 23.6. But guys, once you have your 38.2 tap, once you have that, you no longer have to continue dragging down your fibs. So you had this tap down here. It touched that. Now we're looking for just projection levels on this fib, which is our -27, -61.8. I'm just gonna like drag this out so we can see more of the fib. Guys, a lot of data here. There's a lot of data here. A lot happened. A lot happened. This is a daily time frame. A lot was happening. There's a lot of pips in between here, but I like showing like how fibs work on daily because it's just cleaner when it comes to structure. So just wait. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Price chilling. Price chilling. And boom. What happened? Price touched 38.2, played around, but finally hit the -27. So that would have been, let's see how many pips that would have been. So that would have been a swing trade, guys, right? That would have been half a year. But the reason I show you this is just how those daily fibs, they matter. Like they matter like with these levels. Daily, like a daily fib is a good, like having a good bias, understanding, okay, the market has came up to this level. You know, this might be a strong resistance area, you know? It's just good to have this like bias. Now, let's actually go into the 4-hour and show you how this makes more sense. Let's clean up these charts. Cool. So, all of y'all by now should have watched the structured training I did on our YouTube channel. If not, you guys need to do that, guys. You need to do that because you need to understand like higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. I know this is super ugly, but you need to understand like your points, your breaks. You need to understand all that. You need to understand where resistance and then where it turns into support. Guys, that stuff is super important. All right. So I'm going to show y'all how that's relevant here. Boom. Clear all drawings. All right. Bet. Mouse. All right. We're back. So we have a 4-hour chart. So what we're doing now is that same way we like looked for fibs and all that, we can do that here. We can find fibs here. We can find levels here. So it's just more data. It's a 4-hour chart. So what is this, right? This is downtrend. It's going down. Pretty simple. This is where price action comes into play, guys. This is where price action comes into play. So what I do is when I see something like this, I see a high point, I see a low point, I see a fib level that was hit. So we had our high point, bearish high point, to bearish low point right there. We had what level hit? This level here, negative 61.8. And then from there, I mean, it hit negative, it hit the negative 61.8 perfectly. So you had your 61.8% retracement tapped. And then, I mean, within, it tapped it, came down, closed, came down, came up, tapped it. Guys, this was money. Like you get in an entries here, and you set your take profit negative 27. That's a quick 68 pips. You ride it to the negative 61.8 for a take profit 2. It's like 97 pips. So let's see how we could have taken advantage of that, right? So let's see how we could take advantage of this. Let's mark this area out. Let's see what happened in this area. So we're on a 4-hour time frame. Now let's go down to a 2-hour time frame. I like the 2-hour time frame. It can clear up some noise. Structure looks nice on it. It's a nice way of like reviewing what happened. And so let's see how we could have taken advantage of this move. Go down each time frame. So we're seeing it was wicks, 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 wicks. So what you could have seen is just here on this 1 hour, you know that this is your 61.8 area. You see that price touched it once right here before any of this other stuff existed. And then price touched it again right here. Once you had that next tap and you had all this exhaustion on the 1 hour, and then you saw this, you saw these two bearish candles close. Once you saw these two bearish candles close, you were like looking for entries. You had 1, 2, and then see the volume? You see how there's not much wick on them? That matters. That matters a lot. So you could have entered really off of this variation right here. It didn't even give you really a pullback, but even off of this variation alone, you could have entered off of that there. You could have had a 30 pip stop loss right above this area, and your take profit, you would have been basing off your 4-hour fib, which was right here. So you had your take profit 1, negative 27, your take profit 2, negative 618, right? So you could have entered there, 30 pip stop loss, and since you're basing all this off of your 4-hour fib, so we'll put our stop loss right above these wicks, and our entry was like way down here. And I'll show you how you can get an even cleaner entry. But we'll put our stop loss right here. So take profit 1. Guys, that's not a terrible risk to reward ratio. That's 1.4. But your next fib level will put you at a solid 2.2. So basically, you're risking your 30 pips to get 70 pips. So you're risking 30 to get 70. That's not a bad setup, but let's see how we could have gotten a better entry, because we don't do stuff just off of a 1 hour, right? We get deeper with this. Let's find how we could have caught a better entry. So let's go from the 1 hour down to the 30 minutes. Guys, when you see 2 wicks on like a fib level like that, and you see exhaustion, you should be looking for entries. Like it's worth your time in the market to look for them. All right. So here's that area, the area where those wicks were. Now let's see what we saw. All right, we see, boom, 61.8 wick right here. Market came down, played around, made a huge bearish engulfing. Once you had this bearish engulfing here, what you're looking for now is a pullback. So this here, when you had this bearish engulfing on the 30 minutes, look at how much volume. Look at all the volume that this took out. Like, guys, look, it took out a lot of previous candle volume. That's a lot of bearish volume coming in the market after you had this 61.8 tap. Okay, cool. Well, now we see that that bearish volume happened. So here's another way you could have entered. Came up, tapped your level again, rejection here. You could have entered here. And again, guys, this is crazy. Like, you could literally enter at the close here after it pulled back, and you've seen this exhaustion again off that 61.8 level. Now, let's put our stop loss above this previous level, or even at this next fib level. Whatever you want to do. Take profit 1, -27. Now you have like a 1-to-4 ratio. You're risking 15 pips now to get 70. And then take profit 2 is almost 100 pips from there. Guys, and then you could have took that entry. And then if you wanted, you could even like have took profit at -27, moved your, if you had 2 entries, you could have moved your stop loss into profit by a couple of pips to make it a risk-free trade. And then you could have just rode the wave on this downtrend. And you could have waited for a better reason to exit the trade. So like that's a clean setup that happened. But again, you didn't know any of this existed. It took a little bit of confidence. It took a little bit of just execution. Like, honestly, you could have been a little safer. You could have entered a little bit farther down. You could have entered down here. You could have said, well, I had like kind of like a double top formation. Like, we made this double top formation. You had the 2 wicks. But if I'm seeing like a level get tapped twice, like a 61.8, I'm trading. Like, I'm throwing an entry. Just because that's a lot of confluence. You have a 4-hour 61.8. You had this bearish engulfing. You had a pullback. You've seen another tap of that level. You're jumping in. Like, not a terrible trade. Not a terrible trade at all. And honestly, if you'd have held it, I mean, come on. Like, you could have held that for all of this. You didn't really get a reason to get out of the trade until maybe here when you saw all this structure start to get broken. Does that clear some stuff up for you guys? Like, can you kind of follow along with how that works? With how we played off of our fib levels? Boom, boom, boom. Not to say it's going to happen every time. There are times when the market will manipulate you, and that's why we have a stop loss. You're risking 15 pips. So if the market happened to manipulate you out, come up and wick one of these other levels, well, you said, okay, cool, I lost 15 pips. I'll get in again up here. So now you're getting in again up here, and then your stop loss, can just be again like a little bit past this top resistance, Again, risk 15 pips for the same take profit. Like, pretty much we're in the game of risk to reward at the end of the day. That's what the game we play. We play the game of risk to reward. You're going to lose. Manage your losses. If you manage your losses, you'll always be in a better place. Like, don't worry about how many times you win. Worry about when you lose, how much it affects your account. If every time you lose, it takes your whole account, then that's probably you're trading. You're not trading well for your account. Like, you're over leveraging too much. At the same time, trade your own account though. Like, that's something that is very important. Yeah, I'll go over trend line because I actually kind of had something kind of interesting here with trend line. So trend lines, right? This is just like basically it's necessarily a trend line is just you drawing a line on a chart. It has nothing to actually do with the market. Sometimes, you know, it will play out, but a lot of the times it's just you drawing a line on your chart, and sometimes you can think too much about it. One second, guys. I'm getting like crazy Discord notifications on this thing I'm in. Like, quit Discord. All right, cool. Just quit. Should be no more Discord notifications. Awesome. All right. So let's find an area where we could draw a trend line. I had a clean trend line on GA. Let's go to GA. Go see what GA is up to. Cool. So a trend line, right? We have a daily time frame. Oh my gosh, GA to the moon still. Wow. All right. So a trend line. You have your low point, right? And now you're looking for a higher low to draw your trend line to. So me, again, let's talk about higher low for a minute. So we have our low point here. So now let's pull up a fib daily. We see all this structure. Let's see what it looks like on a fib. All right. So here's our B point per se. The reason I don't include this is it's just manipulation wick. This is just manipulation for me. You could include this up here, but personally, I like to look at my fib, and if it's testing the line here, I let it test it because it's not truly breaking to a new high. Like, it's testing this area. So you could draw it down. It's just up to you personally. So if we draw our A point right here, to our B point right here. This is daily again. So now basically I want to draw a trend line to my higher low that forms. So this wasn't a higher low. This wasn't a higher low. This was our higher low, but then we had this come down on this fib. So I drew my trend line from here, and then I'm drawing it to this wick here. And I mean, this trend line was really beautiful. It really worked out. I just, like, you don't want to rely too much on trend lines. They're not always going to, like, be your best friend. Like, sometimes you can get real hung up on a trend line. All right, so all right, cool. So once I saw this here, I draw my trend line from here to the future. So let's go ahead and line that up, make it nice and clean. All right, so we see we have boom, boom. Now to the future, okay? So let's just because the trend line is an imaginary line to the future. Like, this is just imaginary. Like, we don't Just because we drew this, the market does not have to play it at all to this trend line. You drew this on your chart. You're not a market maker. You didn't. You drew this line. This line holds no significance in the market except for you to have some data. That's it. So let's see how it played out. It played out really nice. Like, it touched it so many times. Like, it was so clean. Boom, right off the trend line. And I caught this move here. Now, let's talk about multiple confluences. Let's talk about confluences for a second. Multiple confirmation, right? Multiple confirmations equals confluence. Yeah, no problem. Let's talk about confirmations, like how multiple confirmations equal confluence. So I had my trend line tap, right? And I had a huge bullish engulfing off of that trend line, right? But then I had price come all the way back down to the trend line. So before any of this price existed, cool. Before any of that price existed, I want to talk about this area here. So see our blue, so our low to our high. And again, I'm not even going to include that doji. My high is here. I'm not going to include that doji. Let's look at this. Let's look at what level it was resting at, what level it was respecting. It was respecting that 61.8 on the daily, which was previous support, like right here. This was beautiful. This is such an easy setup. Like, it worked out beautiful. Like, we had our previous support being respected. So we had our break right here and engulfing. And engulfing on a higher time frame is a break of structure on lower time frame. So remember that. And engulfing on a higher time frame. So when you see something like this, it's a break of structure on lower time frames. So we had our engulfing. Price came up, made a lower high, came back down to touch this area. So we had multiple reasons that we were looking for a buy. We had multiple reasons this was going to be a buy. So then we'll go to our 4 hour and show you how beautiful this exactly was. So remember that engulfing? That big, huge engulfing? Well, here it is. We had our engulfing right here. Look at how much volume came into that market right there off of the trend line right here. Well, we had drew our fibs so we can measure this retracement. And we see this area here. Here's that where that 61.8 area resides. We see price in that area, bullish engulfings, right? So we see a variation. These two bullish candles, variation. Retest, again, right here. This was a retest. Price played around right here, wick down. So this is basically market manipulation right here, just like kind of like a quick wick to get people stop losses, stuff like that. You know, it's just a quick like 50 pip wick for people entering, over leveraging whatever they're doing. All right. Then market opened. When market opened this high and then came down, oh man, like when I saw this gap and then it came down, and then I saw this on the 30-minute. This was crazier on the 30-minute. So there's where the market opened, came down, created all this structure. When I saw this engulfing right here, this market where it engulfed this previous, I know it's not a lot of volume, but you see how there was no wick. And then we had another bullish candle. I entered here on the pullback when I had this red candle come back down. Entered here, had a little bit of drawdown, not much. I was in that a little bit of drawdown that came down. But from there, came back, retested my entry, placed another entry because I was like, it's just testing because this support maintained. And then I held it up to this area here, and I took profit here. And then I didn't get back in over here. Wish I would have, but didn't get back in. But yeah, that's kind of cool. Like, that's kind of showing you like the trend line, like how the trend line was tested, you know, how it gave us one confirmation, and then we lined it up with Fibonacci, and then we lined it up with our market structure on lower time frames. So that was confluence. A lot of reasons to enter a trade right there. So now, what's everybody looking at, guys? What are we looking at? You guys want me to break down what I see on Euro? Message in the chat if you're interested in that. I'll kind of show you what I see on the Euro. If you want to, let me know. Let's go over it for y'all. Here's the 4 hour. Here's what I'm seeing. So we had all this downward momentum, came up, right? Made some like structure here. And then we had a resistance here get broken. Got smashed through. Boom, 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 boom. Then it got retested multiple times as support. This is the move I had previously caught. So all this was like super, 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 super confluence. I think I talked. This is one of the trades I had called out previously in the week. So we had this right here, the 4 hour break retest. So once we had that break and draw my fib from that previous point up here. Cool. Had 61.8 tapped. Came up, hit the negative 27. So now I'm gonna go ahead and drag my fib from this point here, our low to our high. We had our 38.2 hit here. I mean, this was super easy. This is super easy pips. Like, this is what I caught last night. Well, then we had all this exhaustion here, but prices came back to that 38.2 level, and support's being maintained. So personally, I'm still bullish because of support being maintained. You do have a lot of volume coming in, bearish volume, but again, like wick, like still on that 38.2 level. Personally, I would like to see this new high come about, which would kind of like line up here. It's negative 61.8. I'd like to see this kind of line about. So this would actually be right here, would be like kind of like the retest of that broken support. Like it would come back and touch that level. I'd like to see that level touched one more time. So I'd like to see some bullish momentum up to that level. Like I said, potentially make this uptrend stronger. See some like higher highs, higher lows, because we had our lower low, then we had our lower high, then we had our higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, high, low, so that's what I'm looking at right now. Personally, I'm in this trade right now. I kind of called it out earlier, what I was kind of like looking at. So all these wicks here, 4 hour, telling a story. Go down to the 1 hour. Cool. So the 1 hour, again, support being tested right here. Support, test, 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 test. We had our indecision candle right on support, and immediately we're having this bullish momentum upwards. I would love to see this close strong. If this closes strong above this level, we're looking real good to like see bullish momentum continue. I like this engulfing right here off of support. We had our 30-minute engulfing, and then we had a retest right here. Depending on how you feel about levels and certain things like that, you could have entered there off of this retest even. And you could have got a pretty clutch entry, and just put like below all this structure. Honestly, like you could put a stop loss below all this structure. My goal lately is just to get smaller stop losses. Like the smaller stop losses, the bigger lot size you can use, because you're risking the same amount of money you planned on risking, but you're able to use a bigger lot size for that amount of money. Because like you enter this trade with the idea of, man, I don't want to lose more than $20. I don't want to lose more than $30 for this trade. Well, with a 15 pip stop loss, you can risk a 0.2 and still be risking $30. But now your potential profit, a 0.2 and hitting like the fib level again, that's $100 profit for a $30 risk. And then if it goes up to the next one, you're talking like 150, like this level here, like 68. So yeah, so potentially like $136 profit for a $30 risk. That's kind of stuff like I've been like really looking at lately, like getting my stop losses smaller. This is something too that I like really saw, and it was intriguing. This level, right? Even though price came down really hard, this immediately bullish momentum up to close above that bearish candle and make this a true test, to me, is just more of a reason that this support is strong. And until we see this support be broken, this is still bullish, because this is our 38.2. Now, if we see something like this happen, for me, like even on the 30-minute, like I like this 30-minute structure. So now if I see something, now that I see this 38.2, the support level, if I see, let's see, where's my tool? Crap. So if I see like this, right? Let's say price comes down past all of that, right? Breaks this with like two big bearish candles, and then I see price retest this area, I'm looking now for sales. Till then, I'm I'm bullish. Like I'm bullish because I don't have a reason to like the higher low has not been broken into a downtrend. We're still maintaining this uptrend. Personally. Test, test, test. This is all test. A lot of people, they would think all this bearish momentum, they're like, man, I'm looking for sells. But until you see a break of structure, there's no looking. How to manage a trade. So like once you're in a trade, like how do you manage a trade? That's up to you. The big thing for me when I manage a trade is I take a look at my take profit. I take a look at my levels. I take a look at my support and resistance on different time frames. But like that's a big thing. AU, I was looking at AU earlier. AU's playing right now. It's kind of doing the same messy thing as like EU. It's like it's testing support really hard. Let's go to 4 hour. Now AU, it's at a very major support level. You know, that's something to be very like aware of. But when it moves, it moves. Yeah, AU is one of those pairs. Like when it wants to give pips, it will. Like, but it loves to play. Like it loves to play. Like me, I'm looking at the 4 hour structure on it. Like I'm seeing like bullish again. Seeing a lot of bullish momentum off of this support, but it's just keep coming back to test. This is for me like a major. This is like a major zone of support. So like if we go back in the future, you can see like how many times it's like been respected. And we're like right there at that area. Came down, wick. Price is respecting support very well in that area. As far as like placing an entry, if you're like looking for a trade, I mean, other than placing like a confidence buy off of just kind of like a lot of speculation off of just that support level and stuff like that, you know, I'm not seeing any like super reason to jump in a buy. Like, there's just no like big thing happening. Like, you had this bullish variation, but then an immediate bearish down. Then you had this wick manipulation. Then you had this bullish engulfing, indecision, bearish. You had all this buyers exhaustion. Now you're having buyers come back. It's like until you see like a definite like break of structure, like you see it like break resistance, come back test, then you know look for buys. It's too choppy. Like it's just like it's a downtrend right on the 30. Like until you see like those breaks, like major support levels are nice, stuff like that is nice, but price will do what it wants. Like GA's been proving that like all week. Yeah, for sure, bro. Appreciate you hopping on. But y'all see, guys, this is just price action, like no MAs, like no nothing. Like this is just strictly like being aware of support, multiple time frames, being aware of what you circling. You know, being aware of like multiple time frames. Just so much respect here of this area. 2 hour, let's see what we got. I mean, you could have caught this move. This was kind of a clean little move. in hindsight. 38.2 tap. So you have to ask yourself is this an 88.6 retracement, or is this a breakup structure to the downside? I mean, you do have technically a valid higher low there that was broken and then price retested right here. I mean, you could have got in a sell here and caught this downward momentum, but this level that it's at, this like 88.6 retracement level for this fib is still relevant. We haven't seen no true break upwards past that 0%, not multiple candles breaking. So this is like tested, came down 50%, came up, boom, came down 88.6 to touch. It would be really cool to see like it slowly like climb back up off of this 88.6 area. On the 1 hour, it's a little more clear of what like where the breaks are and stuff like that. So test break. I mean, that's a strong bearish momentum there. But again, pay attention to your levels. It's too low to sell, but there's not enough reasons to buy. Too low to sell, not enough reasons to buy. That's where I'm at. It's my AU. It's just AU in a nutshell. No problem, Neil. So, yo, Max, what are you doing? You want to hop on and knock out some stuff? Want to come out and show some of your swings and stuff like that?
I can show you my opinion on your USD if you'd like.
Yeah, bro. Here, I'm gonna stop share right now.